The gavel slammed down. Robert Dairo flinched. In a single heartbeat, the courtroom became a tomb, sealing his fate. Outside the courthouse, thousands of strangers he once called fans cheered, but not for him. Across the aisle, Karoline Leavitt stood poised, her pink suit a bright slash against the gray despair that clung to Dairo's shoulders. He opened his mouth, desperate to reclaim the stage he'd ruled for decades. No one was listening anymore. Everything he had built, the applause, the awards, the legacy, had crumbled under the weight of his own words. Words that now echoed back at him like a curse. And it all began with one televised moment he thought he could control. The courtroom was suffocatingly silent. You could hear the creak of leather shoes against marble, the soft scratch of a reporter's pen. At the center of it all stood Robert Dairo, a man who had once filled theaters with laughter, tears, and standing ovations. Now, he stood stripped of all that, gripping the cold, polished wood of the witness stand like it was the only thing keeping him upright. His mouth opened, searching for the words that had once come so easily, but no sound escaped. Across the courtroom, Karoline Leavitt sat at the plaintiff's table, her face carved from steel, her pink suit sharp against the somber tones around her. She didn't gloat. She didn't even smile. She didn't have to. The battle had already been won. And Robert Dairo, beloved son of Hollywood, had fallen, not to an enemy from without, but to the very words he had wielded so recklessly. Robert had always lived in the bright warmth of the spotlight. From a skinny boy with a dream in Brooklyn to an Oscar-winning legend, he had risen by speaking his truth, loud, raw, and unfiltered. In recent years, he had turned that voice against politicians he despised. His fans, loyal and fiery, had cheered as he attacked conservatives, branding them dangerous, extreme, crazy. He loved the fire. He thrived on the outrage. But fame has a way of making you forget that not every battle is waged from a stage, and not every enemy stays silent. Karoline Leavitt had grown up in a different world. Small-town roots. Faith, family, country. Words that still meant something. She had risen faster than anyone expected, becoming the youngest press secretary in U.S. history, a proud voice for the MAGA movement, and a fierce defender of Donald Trump's America First vision. Critics called her puppet, a prop, but they underestimated the steel beneath the smile. When she took her seat across from Dairo on the live broadcast of Spotlight, she knew it wasn't just another interview. It was a war. The studio that night buzzed like an electric storm. Alex Harper, the host, was known for fanning flames. He smiled slyly as he welcomed the guests, sensing the inevitable explosion. Robert Dairo leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, a smirk playing on his lips. Karoline, poised in her pink suit, spoke first, her voice clear and unwavering. "I'm here to deliver President Trump's America First message," she said. "We're rebuilding this nation one truth at a time." The audience clapped, but Dairo's supporters booed, hissing under their breath. When Harper turned to Dairo, baiting him, he didn't hesitate. "I don't care about the media," Dairo sneered, his voice cutting through the studio. "I care about people like her. Young puppets. Dangerous liars. She's a threat to democracy. Her generation is the beginning of the end." The words hit the air like a slap. Some clapped. Others gasped. Karoline sat stone still, absorbing every syllable. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she refused to show it. She had been underestimated her entire life. Not anymore. When Harper asked for her response, Karoline leaned forward, her voice slicing like a blade. "I'm not here to be insulted by someone hiding behind fame," she said. "I represent millions of Americans. Mr. Dairo only represents his own ego." The audience erupted, shouts, cheers, jeers. But the real battle had only just begun. Later that night, while the internet exploded with viral clips, Karoline moved quietly. She didn't post snarky replies. She didn't do interviews. She called her lawyer, Sylvia Martinez, known for turning lawsuits into political earthquakes, listened carefully as Karoline laid out the situation. It wasn't just one insult. It was a campaign, interviews, posts, deliberate slander. "This isn't just personal. Karoline said, her voice low. It's political warfare. Martinez's eyes gleamed. Then we'll fight it like one. An $800 million defamation lawsuit was filed within days. And Hollywood, used to throwing punches without fear of reprisal, blinked. Dairo laughed it off at first, waving it away in interviews as Trump games. But behind closed doors, he was furious. His manager, Greg Palmer, urged him to stay aggressive. You're an icon, Palmer said. She's a nobody. But Palmer had a secret, an email leaked by a disgruntled staffer. An email that revealed they had targeted Karoline, not spoken spontaneously. She's young, vulnerable, Palmer had written. Attacking her will make you stand out. When Karoline's legal team got hold of that email, it was like blood in the water. They built the case brick by brick. The spotlight clip, Dairo's CNN interview calling her more dangerous than Trump, social media mobs attacking her credibility, interviews canceled by networks. They had data showing thousands of hateful posts linked directly to Dairo's statements. And then came the final piece. A secret recording of Dairo himself, instructing Palmer to go after her, to keep his anti-Trump brand alive. The trial was a media circus. Every network sent their best anchors. Every seat was filled, MAGA hats clashing with Hollywood glamour. Karoline entered the courtroom a storm contained in silk, head high, step steady. Robert Dairo followed, a shadow of his former self. Sylvia Martinez laid out the evidence with precision, her voice slicing the silence. The video clips, the leaked emails, the secret recordings. Each blow landed like a hammer, stripping away Dairo's defenses. Under oath, he crumbled. He admitted he had no evidence that Karoline was a threat to democracy. He stammered about feelings, opinions. But feelings weren't facts. And the courtroom knew it. By the time Martinez finished, the room felt heavy with inevitability. Dairo sat slumped, a ghost of the man who once roared with righteous fury on every stage. When the judge delivered the verdict, it was deafening. Robert Dairo and CBS were ordered to pay Karoline Leavitt $200 million. Not just for defamation, for malice. Karoline rose slowly. She didn't celebrate. She didn't cheer. She simply stood, a living monument to what it meant to fight back and win. Outside the courthouse, the crowds roared. Supporters waved signs. Reporters shoved microphones into faces, demanding reactions. Robert Dairo disappeared into a waiting car, face hidden behind dark sunglasses, hands trembling. His career shattered. His reputation wrecked. His legacy forever stained, not by the people he tried to attack, but by his own reckless arrogance. Karoline returned to her duties at the White House stronger than ever. She didn't bask in the victory, she used it. Young women in small towns began to see her not as a symbol of controversy, but as a hero. She had taken on the might of Hollywood itself, and won. Letters poured in. Emails flooded her office. Little girls in Texas, Ohio, Iowa wrote, "You showed us we can fight back too." Hollywood, meanwhile, changed. Contracts now included strict speech clauses. Comedians pulled their punches. Actors measured their words. Because one young woman in a pink suit had dared to say, "Enough." And she had the courage and the proof to back it up.